Okay, so opening up the Sweet Pea Cottage, the first thing I noticed is this big yard. I really like it. I like that little break in this wall that makes it look like an entryway. And then over here we've got this gate, and there's some arches behind it, so that's, definitely a cool secret. And here I'm going to use this for a kitchen. I like the door for the elevator. It looks really good. And then that small room, I like that as well. This medium room and then this big room. I like the split wallpapers. And then this larger room, probably like a living room and then like a balcony. I love the background as well. So this is the bedroom furniture. Everything from the bedroom section. I think it's really cute. I love the floral everywhere, and the color scheme is just so pretty. And yeah, the beds can be unmade. Cute ivy curtain, and then I love the little purple curtains that go over the windows. This is the bathroom stuff, pretty minimal. There's wall decor and then like an outhouse, a mirror, broom, and a clothesline. That's it. The mirror does show the secret behind the gate, so that's a cool hint. Moving on to the kitchen furniture, there's a fair amount of small items, not a ton of food in this one, and then just your normal kitchen items. There's also 4 recipes, 2 pie recipes, a cinnamon recipe, and then a ham and mushroom recipe. I don't want to try that. I don't like mushrooms. One of the tables you can see is like a jarring table, like canning but jars. So I'll show that in a bit. And then I have no idea what those things are, but like maybe like tea or something. They look like they have leaves. And then next is the living room furniture. I'd say pretty cute. I really like that hanging couch bed thing, and that purple chair. The blanket on it is so pretty, as is the color for the chair. Honestly, all of this is great. I don't love that weird lamp, but otherwise, I think everything's super pretty. I love those flowers. I was trying to put the wood in the fire. It's just a basket of wood, but yeah, those pink flowers, they're beautiful. And the purple is a really pretty shade, matches the green and the white super well. So yeah, super cute furniture. And then this is like the smaller items. There's an old sewing machine, and then there were some people on Reddit asking for those old grandma cookie tins filled with sewing supplies. And I was like, oh, that's probably not going to happen, but it'd be cool. And then it happened like a week later, so that's super cool. And I love that thing of connected books. Oh my gosh, I love that. And then you have that outfit that is made from the pile of fabric. There was that like cross point needle thingy that I showed a second ago, and then a cool frog radio. So yeah. And then as for the plants and outdoor stuff, as you can tell, there are a lot. There are some fruit trees, some flowers, a garden bed, a big, it's not a gazebo, but it's whatever that thing's called, and then water spout. The roses, they can be removed, and if you pour water on the bush with a watering can, they will regrow. And I don't show this in the video, but those roses can be used as hair accessories for any characters. Same with the peas or snap peas, whatever they're called. If you pour water on them, they'll regrow. And there is a frog in the watering can. It's super cute. So yeah, those are plums, and then there's pears. I like plums, and it's nice to have unlimited pears now. So definitely happy with this, and super cute. And then the wallpapers, there's that green and flower one. I think it's pretty. There's this one, which is a lot like the white one from the romantic beach house, which it actually is the same, just a slightly different shade of white. Then there's this white wooden one. I tend to like the vertical wooden ones, so I like that. There's this stone, which I like this. It's not it's a good color, and it doesn't feel too overwhelming. Then there's this yellow and white flower. Again, I think it's cute. Maybe wouldn't pattern a whole room with it, but definitely half, which is why I like the half walls. This yellow vertical wood. Again, I like the vertical wood, and I like how the yellow looks. And then as for floors, there's this grass that definitely belongs inside the house. And then there's this kind of scuffed up, darker brown wood. And then there's this carpet. I love the carpets. It's always good to have more, so it's kind of like a cream. And then there's this like lighter brown wood. Ignore the car outside. And then there's this stone floor that matches the stone wall from earlier. Overall, I like the wallpapers and floors. So this is the jarring table. I would call it canning, but it's with jars. By the way, if you tap the strand of garlic, it will turn into a single clove of garlic. So anything you put on the jarring table will jar, and it'll have a certain color inside, but otherwise they're identical. Even though the table just shows mushroom, cherries, and beet, anything edible can go on it. It's pretty similar to the cupcake machine from the Sugar Pink Parlor, where anything you put in for the icing, as long as it's edible, will turn a certain color and work for icing. It's the same idea here. So, the colors will vary based on the item, but anything edible can go in. So yeah, this is just me showing how the plants regrow with water. And I think it's really cool that the roses grow from the little rose buds. And then you take the peas, and then they regrow instantly. That is the mirror showing the fairies. I think it's pretty cute. And it's a nice hint for the fairies. So if you tap that rock by the bush and then tap the lever, it'll open up the gate. Inside that box are 3 wooden statues. Take out the statues and place them in their designated spots. By the way, those 3 symbols are carved onto the brick wall, stone wall. And anyway, so you put the statues in and you get fairies. And they're really cute. My favorite is either the pink one or the mossy one. But yeah, they're really cute. You can't put stuff in the fountain. But I'm just going to store them in those little niches. And then I end up bringing the statues upstairs to display in the final build. So this is my final build. I spent a good while on it. So the porch has a little bike and area, and then there's this orchard, the frog in the watering can again. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cute. There's this stone path that goes through the entire garden. I had a lot of fun making that really big flower bed. I just kind of put a bunch of flowers behind the main one, and then added those 2 smaller purple flowers on the sides because they had some stones, and it made it look rounder. And then there's obviously those trellises in the back. Whatever that white, not a gazebo thing is, I think it's pretty. And then we're going to pretend that this spout goes into the water bucket instead of behind it. And then we've got the hidden area behind the gate. I added some extra moss behind the mossy guy to make the cape longer. And then I added some decoration around the base of the fountain. I don't know how much I love it, but I think it's cute. And then this is the kitchen. So my mom said that's called a pie safe. So that's the open cabinet thing. And then there's not a ton in the fridge. The fridge didn't come with it. And then yeah, I mean, it was, I just kind of threw together the kitchen. The stuff on the window, should that be pies? Probably. But I put those there at the beginning before I made the pies, so it's fine. I really like how the light is an upside down basket. It's really cute, especially for the kitchen, and I love those purple curtains. They're just so pretty, and it definitely gives like cottagecore country vibes. So I did put a bench in the elevator, which is something I usually don't do, but I felt like it fit with this one. And then this is probably my favorite room of the entire house, is the canning room. And the colors, I mean, they're beautiful. I did make 19 jars of stuff and sort them by color, but that was fun. And I had fun filling the baskets with fruit. I had a ton of fun making this room. I think it ended up super pretty. I even had extra jars and cloths to give the idea of like, hey, here's the supplies. And then those bottles on the table are like, the vinegar or whatever's used for like the pickling and stuff. There's even a scale on the table that has like, to weigh them for the jars and stuff. I had a lot of fun with this room. It was really fun. And of course, there's those beautiful pink flowers by the elevator, which I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I love how the elevator door looks like an actual door. I think that's so pretty because, not gonna lie, I was kind of getting sick of elevators. And then upstairs, so the patterns on the wall, I spent a long time on them, and then they didn't line up, so I don't know how much I love them, but they're still pretty. So this is the living room. There's the fireplace with a little fire inside, and then there's that dresser with a bunch of little trinkets on it, the shelf with the statues, and then just a cozy couch area. I really love those purple chairs again. I want that flower blanket. And then some books over on the other dresser. I love that the books are already stuck together. And then as for why there's strawberry plants under the hanging bed, I don't know. I didn't know where else to put them, but it's a very comfy area. And then the balcony. And the balcony and that hanging bed, they both just look so comfortable. Like, I would love to hang out there. And so, but yeah, I really like the wallpaper for this as well. I think it's super pretty. And then over to the bedrooms. So this room was originally going to be the bathroom, and then I couldn't find a way to do it that I liked. Realistically, I would say to use the canning room as the bathroom. But yeah, so this is just like a strawberry bedroom. It's supposed to be like a kid's room. There's like some school stuff on the little table desk, and then a little horse thing over there on the dresser. And then this is the other room that's kind of a sewing room. It's got that cross stitch thing on the dresser. I just showed the patterns. And then, there's just a little sitting area, the bed, and then the sewing area. And then the bottom shelf has a bunch of sewing stuff on the bookshelf. But yeah, I think overall, I really like this. I would 100% recommend getting this. Super cute, both with the house and the furniture and just everything. Cottagecore isn't my real life style, but in Toca, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I didn't really know what it was before today, but I love it, and pink and green is always going to be a cosign from me. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and definitely get this.